that it's hailing at my house.
No, I believe that it's hailing at your house. I just feel like you were acting like the world was ending.
Dude, it was literally hailing so hard. Like,
Well,
the hardest I've ever heard.
I thought you were going to bail on this commitment the way that the Ravens just bailed on that Maxx Crosby trade.
No, I'm not the Ravens.
What a wild, okay, like, I know teams have pulled out of trades before, or like people have tried to sign free agents pending of like a physical and things have fallen through, but I can't remember a trade of this nature where someone backed out. I mean, this was a big deal, right? I mean, he's a major player. He's got a big salary cap tied to him. This was multiple first round draft picks and third round draft picks, if I recall. And like, where do we go from here?
I'm confused. Did they even say why they pulled out?
It sounds like they were worried about his knee. I guess he's had some knee issues in the past, and but that's pretty well documented. I don't think that's a surprise. So a very interesting thing to. I mean, that deal was signed, sealed, and delivered, and there was no looking back. And here's the thing that's interesting, Deeb, is like any other team in the league, especially the Raiders, this kind of changes the whole strategy of the game, right? This is one of the top free agents. The Raiders have been going out and signing a bunch of people. They've made a lot of moves. And now you got, you know, your dance partner with the Ravens. They just bailed on you, man. It's like they were standing at the altar making this deal. And then the Ravens said, I don't. You know, they didn't say I do.
Maybe they saw the video of him fighting Sean Strickland. They saw him get his ass beat up, and then they were like, you know what? We're out.
It could be. But the fascinating thing is, at least at the time of us recording this, the Ravens have signed nobody. That was the only thing they've really done this offseason. They've lost players, and then they made this trade for Maxx Crosby. So now they literally have done nothing this offseason.
I'm still confused, though. How can you just pull out of a trade like 3 days later? Or whatever it is. Is that even like allowed?
The only thing I can think is that they probably had somewhere in this trade arrangement, like, we agree to this pending, him passing a physical or whatever. That's the only thing I can think of. And then maybe no one reported on that because like this never happens.
I mean, you'd think an NFL player would pass a physical unless they were actually still hurt, but you never know.
Who knows?
Maybe he was smoking weed or something weird.
Who knows? But the crazy thing, though, there's other teams that were interested in him that have since made other moves too. And so it's just like this could have shifted the entire landscape of this offseason. Like teams have done things they maybe wouldn't have done otherwise. And it significantly reduces the Raiders' salary cap to keep making moves. They were doing a bunch. And now that they got him back on the team, they either trade him again or they're stuck with that salary and they can't do quite as much as they were planning on.
When's the NFL draft? Isn't it soon?
I think it's next month.
Like, I feel like it's like middle of April or something, right?
Yeah, it is April 23rd. So it's next month.
Yeah. Maybe they're getting cold feet and they don't want the first pick. And they're like, I don't know.
Well, they had the first pick. That was not part of this deal. But they were going to have another like 13th overall pick or something like that to add to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying maybe they want to trade their first pick for someone.
Well, they definitely should, but I don't think they're going to. At this point, it seems like a pretty much guarantee that Mendoza's going there.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be foolish at the moment unless they pick an offensive lineman or something crazy. But I mean, I highly doubt they're going to do that since it's Vegas.
No. What they probably would have taken an offensive lineman at 13. But what they should do is they should trade this pick to solidify that line a bit. They picked up a center. They got a piece, but they need more than one piece, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Mike, I guess, Deeb, I'm so fascinated by this because other than like league vetoes, like I know in the NBA, sometimes trades get vetoed, even though that's pretty rare as well. Have you ever heard of? But have you ever heard of anything like this happening with like this big of a trade? This was a big deal.
I've never heard of someone backing out of a trade this like days after. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe if it's draft day or something like that and they're still trying to figure some stuff out, they back out. You know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, I'm going to trade you this pick and then maybe they back out, but it's not like broadcasted or it's not reported on by media. But when it's already reported on and it's days after, this is very awkward.
Honestly. Yeah. I mean, I was just curious because I was like, this happened days ago, right? And it was like 4 days ago that this trade happened.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane. I gave him a call. I wanted something to talk about tonight.
I guess so.
I was like, hey, can you guys back out of the trade real quick?
This reminds me of some of my trade partners in fantasy football where like they send you the chat. They're like, hey, would you accept this deal? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then I send the offer and then they don't reply to me for 3 days. And then they decline it later on. And they're like, oh, actually, I'm going to try and get a little more. And I'm like, bro, you offered me the deal. Like, what do you mean?
That's right. They wanted to reel you in for one.
I guess. I
Yeah.
don't do that.
They threw
So
out the little hook.
question though, my buddy Zach asked this, and it's I think a decent question. Is there any reputational damage to the Ravens here for backing out of a deal this many days later that has been widely reported as a done deal, or is this not on them? And like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think some of it is very awkward on the surface, but some of it depends on the details. That's why I'm like, is there something weird that they found out about him? Is he like on something, or you know what I mean? Like, is there has to be some technicality for them to even allow them to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
So yes, on the surface, it's awkward and probably bad reputational for them, but I don't know, because if there's other details, then that could cancel it out maybe.
Yeah. Well, you know, Field Yates, he's one of the analysts for ESPN. He
His
does a lot
name's
of draft
Field?
stuff. Yeah.
Field.
You never heard of Field Yates? You don't know Field Yates?
If your name is Field, you're destined to go into something where you're on the field. I don't know what that could be. It could be a farmer, but
you've never heard of Field? That, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Never.
Well, anyway, he just tweeted. He said this Maxx Crosby situation is crazy. There are massive ripple effects from it. The Raiders' free agency approach changed after they traded him. Other teams who wanted him also pivoted, and the draft picks that were involved. It says, and now the future of Crosby is the biggest question in the NFL, which I agree with. I mean, this is just happening right before we started talking here, so who knows what will happen by the time this episode drops, but this is pretty big news for the moment.
It is. They're very random.
You just, and if you recall, like Maxx Crosby, remember he said he didn't want to tank last season. He was going to play, and then the team shut him down. They all of a sudden said he was injured, and so now it's like there had to be some animosity there, right, with him and the team. And then also they said he was injured, and he said he wasn't injured, and now he didn't pass a physical. So like maybe he was injured, and there's more questions now that I have.
I mean, he was like playing basketball and posted a video online.
Yeah,
unless that wasn't him.
No, he did. I remember seeing that. So who knows?
He just hired some guy that looks like him.
Yeah. Anyway, we know now, Deeb, that the Ravens have commitment issues. They haven't made any moves except for losing players this offseason. But if you are still listening, you should commit to the Single Barrel Sports podcast. We have weekly episodes dropping every Thursday, and this is episode 59. Check us out on the socials, singlebarrelsports.com, and maybe grab you some merch.
And if you stick around for 10 more, you'll get to see 69.
That is a fact. Verified. Yes, it is. And we'll maybe run this clip back when that date comes and say, there it is.
Hell yeah. You know what is also random?
What's up?
Sorry, this is very non-related to what Maxx Crosby. But
no, we'll do a hard shift. That's fine.
It's another one of my rabbit hole X Twitter.
Oh boy.
Searches. When I look stuff up, you know, I get into this weird space in sports somehow.
Okay.
All right, you ready for it? Here's the question.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So I want you to picture it's whatever the day the UFC White House card is, and we'll talk about that later. So it's not related to that, but let's just pretend it's that day for theatrics.
Okay, sure.
You know, we're gearing up. You're about to watch UFC. You're feeling a little patriotic because of the event and where it's at. Okay. And all of a sudden you turn on the news and it says that aliens are about to land, Scott, and they're going to land on the earth. And if you had to show them one sport, if they were to come to your home, and it's got to be a sporting event, to explain to them what humans do for fun, what sport are you picking?
I mean, I would choose football. I think that's always my go-to. That should not be a surprise for anyone who's listening. I know you're not surprised. And I think it is a way to showcase diverse athletic talents. You don't have to be the fastest to be on the field. You don't have to be the tallest or the heaviest. There are positions for different people. You can throw the ball and really do nothing else. You can kick the ball and really do nothing else. You can specialize in catching passes or running and being athletic and avoiding people. You can hit really hard. You can be an immovable object. You could be the object that moves the other objects. And I think that because there's so many players on the field and so many different positions, it really can showcase all of the physical attributes that can make somebody athletic, and it doesn't have a one-size-fits-all approach. So aliens, come join me. Let's watch some football next season, because we know you're there. Maybe you're listening. Maybe they're listening. But aliens are real. There's life outside of this earth, and they probably are here already. Okay.
You're talking to one.
Maybe.
Okay, football. I like it. I was thinking something a little more. I don't know if I want to use the word unique, but if they came here and they were like, "Show me, what is this sports thing? We see this and we don't understand like what this is and why you guys do it." I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what is a sport that's very unique where it's like it almost seems super sophisticated where it's like there's no way that that's you guys are so advanced as a
Curling.
species.
Olympic
No,
curling.
no, hell no. They'd be like, Canada's a cheater anyway. No. I don't know. I have to say something that's more complicated than, I mean, football is pretty complicated. Don't get me wrong. You can simplify it, you can complicate it, but what is like the most complicated sport? Think about it.
Complicated?
Yeah.
Are we talking about like
you're like, how the hell did a human come up with that? That's like the most random, like it has like so much to it where it seems like, we're sophisticated.
Okay, I can't remember what it's called, but dude, there was this Olympic event. I remember watching this, and Raven and I were watching, and she was like, "Wait, what the hell? They're doing this now?" It was an event where they had to do like cross country skiing, and then they pull up to like a shooting range, and they had to shoot like marksman. It was like a marksman event, and you had to hit your targets, and that affected your time. And then you had to like cross country ski again, and then do a different shooting thing. That comes to mind. That was super unique, but that's probably not what we're going for here.
I mean, that could be in that range of things that are very unique. I don't disagree. That is, they'd probably be like, wow, how did you guys put this, 2 and 2 together here? I'm trying to think, what's the most complicated sport where you're just like, I don't even understand the rules. It doesn't even make sense as like a sports fan.
Well, for casuals, you could think that about hockey. I feel like hockey has a lot of nuance if you don't fully understand it. Like it took me a long time to understand how the offsides worked in hockey and how it differed from other sports, for example.
Okay. Hockey. What else? I mean,
the most popular sport in the world is soccer, in my opinion. Or rugby. That's a weird one. Rugby would be a weird one.
That one's, yeah.
They'd be like, what the hell is wrong with this species? They're just beating the shit out of each other.
What about like, I mean, chess? Is that even a sport?
Some people might consider that, but
I was trying to think of something that's like rodeo. No, rodeo's pretty simple.
Show them some Counter-Strike, CSGO. That'll be
just shows them a video game.
Just show them the pictures or the videos of people with their screens all tilted and just like in weird ass positions playing the game.
Yeah. What about, well, I'm trying to think of ones that I don't understand. What about like skiing? Like some of the different skiing ones that are like,
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe that's too simple.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics
could be one. I mean, there's a lot of different things, right? Like there's like, I don't even know what they're all called, but there's like the floor.
Yeah.
There's the pole. Like there's all the different things.
Yeah. There's a lot to it, right?
Yeah. And they're not all the same. Like some of them involve more showmanship. Some of them are really more about like doing the flips and landing them and whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking out of my ass right now, but I've watched gymnastics and there are different events and they're quite different from one another.
Fair. Okay. Well, thought it was a random question, so figured I'd throw it out there to see what.
Well, you haven't answered yet. So definitively, what would you show the aliens if not for football?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of something complicated. The one that they might be most intrigued by is golf. Because they'd be like, so let me get this straight. So you hit a super tiny ball extremely far into a super tiny hole.
Yeah.
Like,
Ultimate
I don't know.
Frisbee? That's a really weird one.
It just seems like, you know what I mean? Like a little counterintuitive.
What about like water polo? That's a weird one too.
Water polo, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like soccer in the water, right? To an extent.
I guess, yeah. You throw the ball. Yeah, I don't know.
Like
you got to like tread water and then still also throw the ball and not drown.
Handball.
There you go. Kickball, dodgeball. There's some options here.
Dodgeball. Wow.
Dodgeball, and then you throw in the trampoline dodgeball. Game over.
You're showing the movie Dodgeball.
Okay, we found a winner here.
Just be like, here, watch this movie. You'll be intrigued.
You'll understand human history. Just watch the Dodgeball, the movie. Exactly. A true underdog story.
Well, you brought up Maxx Crosby, so obviously that's an interesting one. But there's been I swear, dude, every time I go on anywhere, well, not even just anywhere online, but just feel like text messages even today and yesterday from people are just
Mm-hmm.
literally just a barrage of NFL free agency stuff going on right now, which is crazy. What do you think was like the most intriguing free agency one so far that you've seen, or just like interesting where you're like, I did not expect that at all?
I think Kenneth Walker going to the Chiefs might be the one that stands out the most to me.
Yeah.
Guy just won Super Bowl MVP. He's coming off of one of his best seasons of his career. He's been good for a few years, but he's shared a lot of carries this year with, Charbonnet, and
Yeah.
still had a great season, and then became the MVP of the Super Bowl, and then the team let him go. And when that happens, it's like,
Weird.
oh shit, well, where's he gonna is he gonna go like split carries with, like, I don't know, like Gibbs, or is he gonna go split carries in like Washington, or like there's these other teams that don't have like a 1-2 punch. But no, he went to the team, in my opinion, that had the biggest need and the biggest impact that you can have right away in the whole league. He went to the Chiefs, whose only weakness last year, in my opinion, was they had no running game and they had an injured offensive line. So now you're adding a Super Bowl MVP running back to that team that will come back healthy now. They had an injury. They had injuries at wide receiver. They had injuries in offensive line. They had Patrick Mahomes went out late in the year, and Kelsey re-signed for another year. So like the team is staying whole, and you're adding a missing piece that just happens to be a really good running back. So there's a lot. We can really unpack the free agency here, but that one stood out the most to me. And I feel like if you are in fantasy football person, if you have, let's say you're in a dynasty league and you had Kenneth Walker, oh my gosh, like there's not a better case scenario for you. He just went from splitting carries in Seattle to being the number one running back on the Chiefs that is looking to restore its former glory as an offensive juggernaut. And I think they will. So yeah, I mean, that one stands out a lot. I think that's a huge, huge addition for them.
It is pretty shocking to me that the Seahawks decided to just let him go. I mean, I don't know if they think they're fine without him. They like Charbonnet that much. I don't. Maybe there was bad chemistry or something, or whatever. But that's a little shocking to where you just win a Super Bowl and he won the MVP. Whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I think there was a couple people that maybe could have won the MVP in that game. But yeah, that one is very interesting. And I mean, I think it's a pretty good pickup for the Chiefs, honestly, like you said. They need a running back. And they let go of your boy, Isaiah Pacheco, which the Lions decided to pick up, of course.
To quote Pat McAfee on game day, that guy sucks. No, I mean, saying Pacheco sucks might be a bit of an overstatement, but that guy has looked like a shell of himself. And he struggled so much last year. Kareem Hunt wasn't any good. I mean, the Chiefs just really couldn't move the ball running it. And I got the vibe that Pacheco is just the wear and tear and the injuries he's had, he's just kind of done. So I'd be really curious to see how he fits on the Lions.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to be the backup anyway. So
yeah,
to be fair, like maybe it'll give him some time to recover or whatever, be like more of a role player.
It's just interesting though, man, because there's other running backs that were out there, like Tyler Algier, I think would have been perfect to go fill the role that David Montgomery played.
Yeah.
But instead he went to the Cardinals, who just signed James Conner the day before, and they already still have Benson. So now they have 3 running backs, and I'm like, interesting.
That all get hurt.
Well, that's true. You're right.
Yeah, yep. Everybody on that team at running back gets hurt in 1 year.
But then there's other guys like Rachaad White is out there. He could potentially fill a void for one of these teams. Like, it didn't feel like Pacheco was like the only choice. But I guess maybe you would rather have Pacheco than Rachaad White. I'm honestly not sure. I don't know how I feel about that. He definitely has more of the power vibe. He can fit that like goal line carry vibe like David Montgomery did. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, some of it depends too on how they want to use him. If he's really truly like like bring him in third down or whatever, like if you want to throw passes and stuff, like it kind of just depends on how they end up using him, of how valuable he potentially could be, and his health. Like you said, his health is going to be a big question mark moving forward, of like, is he even worth anything or not?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the one that was the most surprising to me was, well, there are 2 reasons, but one of them was who it was Mike Evans to the 49ers. And the 2 reasons I thought it was surprising is, number one, I know he's probably like towards the end or closer to the end of his career, if I had to guess, just based on age and injuries and all that. And then number 2, I just kept seeing all these memes about how he arrives there and then the electromagnetic facility just fries him and like he gets destroyed and gets injured. And I'm like, damn, man, that would really suck. but
Dude,
I
just
could
all
definitely
the
see that
memes,
happening.
all the memes of just like meat just falling off the bone, and they're like,
Yeah.
"This is Mike Evans' hamstring when he arrives in San Francisco." It's
Yeah.
like, oh, he has had
Yeah.
injury issues the last couple of years. He's had like lingering, nagging hamstring issues, and yeah, I mean, when you go to San Francisco, that's where you go to get hurt. The whole team gets hurt there every year, so it's interesting. And you can say what you want about this like electromagnetic factory or facility or whatever, but like at some point, you kind of got to look at this objectively, and you're like, holy shit, they have had a ton of injuries on that team. Like every year for like the last 5 years. I don't know. We'll see. But they were desperately in need of a number one wide receiver. I mean, they got like Brandon Ayuk didn't pan out. They got rid of Deebo Samuel the year before. They have Juwan Jennings, but he's also a free agent this year. And then they have Ricky Pearsall.
Isn't that the guy that got shot?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
miracle in itself that he's out there playing football. But yeah, man, I mean, they're in a desperate need. And then they're also going to be without Kittle at the beginning of the season as he's recovering from an Achilles injury. So
Yeah.
they needed something. They needed to make a splash at wide receiver. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting because I feel like we'll see. I mean, Mike Evans might have another year in him. He might have another 2 years, but like he's got to be nearing the end at this point.
All right, here's a question I just thought of relating to 49ers. If you had the choice between going to the 49ers, knowing that you most likely are going to get hurt, or playing for the Jets, which one are you picking?
Okay, well, you never know that you're going to get hurt. Like we can speculate all this.
Hey.
But I would still rather go to the 49ers.
Okay, that's
Listen,
fair.
no athlete in the world can say with honesty in their hearts that they want to play for the New York Jets. This team sucks, and they somehow find ways to keep sucking worse. And they now have Geno Smith as their quarterback, which is so funny because he started his career there, and he sucked, and they still suck, and they're gonna suck.
The Jets suck more than a vacuum, man.
Yeah, Jets fans would probably even agree with this. I'd be very curious to see what kind of comments we get when we post this clip.
So another one that keeps getting a lot of press is Tua going to the Falcons. I think you might have sent the meme, which I saw, of it's like him and Michael Penix, and they're both like in like wheelchairs or whatever, like saying this is how, Tua enters or whatever the Falcons. But I mean,
you know what?
That's such a weird one.
So they got him for so cheap. And I think when you look at it like that, maybe it's worth the risk here, right? Because the Dolphins have to pay so much of the dead cap space since they had guaranteed so much of his contract.
Yeah.
That I think that the 49ers are only paying him like $1.3 million for this year or something. Like it's like literally nothing for a quarterback. And so I think they tried to fill the gap of a left-handed quarterback with another left-handed quarterback that also has some experience. But like what you really did was you filled the hole of a dude who's got scrambled kneecaps that can't stay healthy with another dude who's got scrambled eggs for a brain because he can't stay healthy and avoid getting hit. And like, you got to just feel bad if you're a Falcons fan. They started to show a little bit of promise at the end of last year. And you've got just so much uncertainty. And then behind all of this, Kirk Cousins is just sitting there now as the third string quarterback, and he's getting paid a shitload of money. Like, what are we doing here? And he has so much guaranteed money too. So even if you let him go, you're still going to be paying a lot of dead cap space for him. Just a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Tua at least was cheap. He only cost them, I think it was 1.3 million. And so it's like, well, I guess if you got to try something, you might as well try something for really cheap. I don't know.
Yeah. But like the Falcons have had every opportunity to have a great quarterback. I mean, Kirk Cousins could have worked out and it didn't. Michael Penix could have worked out, but I'm not saying he's done. He could still potentially be reasonable, but he was a systems quarterback at Washington. Like, you could just tell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he has no talent, but like, he just was in that system, and they made it to the national championship. And I don't know, like, I don't think I would have put my cards in that bucket. I probably would have, like, I'm trying to think, who else could they have picked that year? Didn't they pick him really high randomly?
Yeah. I mean, he was picked 9th overall, if I recall.
What was that, 2024?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see who else. Was there another quarterback? Yeah, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May.
But I think Bo Nix went after him, right? Am I tripping?
Bo Nix. Yeah, idiots, man. They could have had Bo Nix. What are you guys doing? They could have had Brock Bowers. They could have had.
Yeah.
They could have had.
They could have had J.J. McCarthy.
No, they don't want. They could have had. I don't know. There's a few people there that they could have had. And it's just it kind of makes you think, what if, like, Why are you picking Michael Penix over Bo Nix? Is it because Washington beat
Well,
Oregon? I don't know. Probably.
it was also they also picked him right after they signed Kirk Cousins to a huge deal with a lot of guaranteed money. So it was kind
Right.
of like
Yeah.
you just pissed off Kirk Cousins. You made things awkward in your locker room.
Yep.
You made things really awkward in your front office because once you bench Kirk Cousins, what do you do with him? You got all this guaranteed money.
Yeah.
And now then Penix gets hurt and he's not necessarily looking like a superstar when he is healthy. And now we have Tua, which is not the answer. You know what? The Dolphins are in such a better position. They picked up, what was it? Malik Willis, that backup for the Packers. They picked him up and he's going to be their starting quarterback now. And we haven't seen a ton of footage, right? He's only played a handful of starts for the Packers, but he's looked really good when he's played. I would feel much more confident with that than I would with Tua. And so it's just such a fascinating kind of turn of events here. But again, they're carrying so much dead salary cap. It's like, how do you fill in the rest of your holes?
You know what I have to say about Tua? You know what they call him, right?
Tua?
They call him.
Wow.
You like that?
Wow. You know what? That honestly a decent use of the clip, decent use of the soundbite.
I mean, I don't know. But you know what? Who I think kind of got a steal?
What's that?
At quarterback is the Dolphins. I think they got Malik Willis from the Packers, which he was kind of, he was just sitting there behind Jordan Love, and whenever Jordan Love would get hurt, he would come in and he played great. Reasonable.
Yeah, like I was just saying, he played great.
Yeah. I think they got a steal. Now, what they surround him with will probably determine whether or not he's actually has a chance or not. You know what I mean? So like that I think is the bigger question mark is, does Malik Willis actually have the tools in Miami, or will he have the tools necessary to succeed? That's the big question.
It's really hard to think that team's going to really turn it around this year. Because like I said, they're carrying so much dead cap space because they dropped Tua. And it's like, you can only do so much, but we'll see. I mean, they have Jalen Waddle. They've got Achane. Like they have some offensive weapons. So who knows? See.
There was another one I thought was a pretty good steal too. It was the Steelers getting Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I love the Rico Dowdle story. I don't know if you obviously I live in North Carolina, so I follow the Panthers stuff a little bit more closely because it's just in my face all the time. But last year when Chuba Hubbard got hurt, Dowdle started going off. He played amazing. And then when Hubbard came back, they just kind of started playing Hubbard again and took a lot of carries away from Dowdle and then eventually started using him again because Hubbard wasn't doing so well. And so I thought it was super fascinating kind of how they did that, because after the year ended, Rico Dowdle straight up told a reporter, he's like, yeah, I'll remember how they started to limit my carries even though I was playing well. He's like, I stepped up when they needed me and then they started to limit my carries again later on. So I'll remember that going into the offseason. And now here he is. He's off. He's on a new team. And the Steelers needed it because they lost Gainwell. Gainwell went, where did Gainwell go?
I thought I saw this
earlier.
Yeah. Wait, was he their starter this year? Didn't they draft somebody, but that guy, he didn't really play that well?
They have Jalen Warren is still going to be their starter probably, but I think Rico Dowdle could compete for that. And then Gainwell was their backup, but he went to the Bucks. And so
wait, is Warren the guy they drafted?
No, that was Caleb Johnson, who continues to get shit on.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone thought he would be their backup and maybe take over, and he didn't do anything last year. In fact, Gainwell took over a lot of the carries, and now they just brought in Rico Dowdle. So who knows what's going to happen with Caleb Johnson? That's just a mystery.
Rico Dowdle went off because I had Chuba Hubbard and then he got hurt, and I didn't whatever. I didn't get to picking up the backup because I was like, I don't know who this even is. Someone else picked him up, and I was like, really? So this guy just goes off every week? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he dominated. I don't know. Wild stuff, man.
I didn't know who he was. I've never heard of him. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those where okay, you pick them up and maybe they do good. And then I think I was getting pissed in fantasy because my running backs kept getting hurt. I had, I think I had David Johnson for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
No, not David Johnson. What's the guy's name?
James Conner.
What the hell? I'm
David Johnson was a few years ago. Yeah.
I was like, I definitely had him at one point. No, so I had him. He got hurt, and then I got picked up Trey Benson, I believe, and then he got hurt. And I was like, dude, I literally just pick up the backups and they get hurt. So then I didn't pick up the backup for the Panthers, and I was like, because he was actually good.
That one panned out pretty good. You know what's another interesting thought is Kyler Murray. I've been seeing a lot of buzz about Kyler Murray maybe going to the Vikings, and it's a very similar situation where if Arizona gets rid of him, then it would be just dead cap space. So they'd be paying a lot of his salary, and he'd be really cheap for the Vikings. And then the thought is basically Kyler and JJ McCarthy can kind of duke it out, and Kyler brings more of a veteran presence there that JJ can maybe learn some things from, and we'll see who starts. But man, I don't know, because Kyler didn't look great. He was pretty bad last season before he got hurt. And it's just like, at what point is it not worth bringing in a veteran who is not very good anymore that might compete with a younger player and take away some of their playing time versus you want them there because they can help develop that younger player? Like, there's got to be some sort of a balance there. And I feel like it can backfire really quickly if it doesn't go well.
I've seen way too many memes of Kyler Murray depicted as a super tiny guy to like take that guy seriously any longer, unfortunately. Like he's just always depicted in like some like small body, you know, I know he's a smaller guy, but
right.
I've seen too many of those to take him seriously any longer, unfortunately.
Have you seen there's like posts that are like, if Kyler Murray gets traded or gets dropped or whatever, this would be the last play he ever played with the Cardinals. And it's literally him just like standing there and like the center hikes the ball and it hits him in the face and then goes down and like the defense recovers it.
Wow, no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and the Cardinals just signed Gardner Minshew. And so they've now got Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett as their quarterbacks.
Wow. Talk about a team that needs to draft a quarterback.
Yeah. But who do you draft this year? Because this is something I was asking the other day. It's like, obviously Mendoza's going to go first, but then you have who? You've got like Nussmeier, Ty Simpson, Drew Aller. Like you got all these guys that I'm just like, I don't think I want those guys either. It feels like a very weak draft class, in my opinion.
I mean, yes, I think it's an interesting one. I don't think it's maybe the strongest, but
and I left out another powerhouse here, Carson Beck, the guy who played like 6 years in college. Don't want to forget that.
Yeah, honestly, it might not be a bad pull for them. But I mean, they have the third pick. You know what I mean? So like, are they actually going to take a quarterback? Because if they don't get Mendoza, I highly doubt they're going to pick. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, last year the Saints picked Tyler Shuck like idiots, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Literally, just pick some trash guy with like a high pick. What is this?
That was wild. The even crazier thing is that it kind of felt like it was working at the end of the year. Like they were playing a lot better football at the end of the season with Tyler Shucks. Who knows, man? Maybe sometimes these guys just see something that fits in their system, but not a sexy pick. A lot of question marks about that. A lot of people were pissed that he went before Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, Tyler Shuck's not that good, generally speaking. I don't think he can't be good, but I think that was way too early for that guy to get picked. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Well, what we'll have to do, I know we have like, probably a little over a month, it sounds like, till the draft. I think last year we might have done like a first round mock draft.
Yeah.
To say, kind of like who we would pick where. So we'll have to do that. I don't want to do it yet because I feel like it's a little preemptive right now.
Yeah, well, and we need to see how some of this early free agency stuff shakes out to know what needs teams actually have too. But that would be fun to revisit that.
Yeah, I feel like that's always fun. We can put on our Mel Kiper wigs and do a mock draft.
And then get really angry if our guy doesn't get drafted when we think he should.
Yeah, and also get hammered.
Dude, Mel's meltdown was so funny, dude. Oh my gosh. The Mel stands for meltdown.
You're talking about because of Shedeur?
But yeah, he was losing his shit on national TV.
Yeah. He's like, I don't understand this. I did so many predictions and all my numbers are adding up and these teams are just ignoring a talent, generational talent.
Yeah, something is happening here. Like, yeah,
I was just like, wow, Mel, calm down. You got this one wrong, but okay, relax.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think there's still some big question marks in this free agency. You got guys like Aaron Rodgers is still out there. Probably that's the biggest question mark at QB is he going to come back and should he come back? What do you think about that? Should he come back? Should he play another year?
I mean, he's not really in a bad scenario with the Steelers, but he's not in a great scenario. Like they made the playoffs and then they lost. You know what I mean? Are they actually going to go much further? I don't know. I mean, they would really have to do some work. And maybe part of that's bringing in like, Rico Dowdell. Maybe they are starting to do that chip work to like boost.
And they brought in Michael Pittman too. So they got another wide receiver now.
That's true from the Colts. So maybe they are trying to position it better so he has a better chance. But with the people that were on that team, I mean, even having DK Metcalf, like they didn't have enough. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a very standard Steelers season where you do just enough to make the playoffs and then lose in the first game. That seems to be the trend.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, did their coach leave or do they still have Tomlin?
No, Tomlin's gone.
Okay. Do you remember did they get a coach?
They did. Let me see. I actually don't remember who it is. So let me see here.
I like don't remember that one for some reason. It
Oh, it
doesn't
was
stick
Mike
out.
McCarthy. That's right. I forgot about that.
The dude from the Packers,
Yeah, and then I think he was also on the
Cowboys.
Cowboys for a while. Yeah,
I don't know. He's okay. I
I
mean, he's
agree.
not bad, but like you know what I mean. If you want to win a Super Bowl, like I don't know, maybe he's better than what they had. Tomlin, I mean, Tomlin was just steady, but he never for a while. You know, he kept them afloat, but they never really did anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or they haven't in a while. But on another note, did you see that the official UFC White House card has been now released? I know we kind of talked about where there's like a speculative, like here's what it could be, and it was honestly, I don't know, looks pretty good. So I'm curious what your reaction is to the actual card that's official now.
The actual card sucks, in my opinion. I'm
Wow.
going to say something, and I don't normally go directly to this, but women's MMA has grown quite a lot in the last 15 years. It's been really big. So, first of all, there's not even a single women's fight on this card. So, we'll just say that right off rip.
But that's the main ones though, right?
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the main card, but
Yeah, okay.
they have plenty of women who are champions that could fight on this card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and as I look at this, it's very underwhelming. A lot of the guys that you thought we might see, some of the big draws, whether they deserve to be there or not, like Conor McGregor's not, he fell off of this list, and John Jones and all the controversy there. Have you seen some of that back and forth on Twitter with John Jones this week?
Yeah, I did.
Asking for his release now, saying that Dana White is like making up that they were actually trying to negotiate, and that Dana White was like made up a lie that he wasn't trying to negotiate, and like bunch of crazy stuff. But yeah, man, when I look at this, it's just kind of like, okay, there's a couple title fights that makes it kind of fun, but this feels like it should just be like, yeah, like this is just like UFC 253 or some random number, right? Like it's just one of those numbers. It's just one of those numbered pay-per-view events. I don't feel like it has a different feel from any other event with the current card that they have.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still some really high level names though on the single card, right? So like Topuria, Gaethje, that's the main.
Yeah.
I think that will be a good one. Pereira, I don't know much about this Gain guy. So I mean, obviously, whenever Pereira's on the card, it's usually reasonable. But I don't know anything about his opponent, so it's just like, is he actually like legit? I'm sure he's got to be reasonable. O'Malley, I mean, you know, he's up and down. I think people just know him. Some people really like him.
He markets himself well. Yeah, he's a good fighter, and he markets himself well.
Chandler's on here. I don't know the guy he's fighting, Ruffy. I've never heard of him, so that one's kind of a little bit of a question mark. I feel like they could have probably found somebody
that was supposed
else
to be the Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that one kind of seems like they dropped the ball a bit on who he'd be fighting. I don't know Lopez versus Garcia. I'm not familiar with Garcia. I know Lopez and I know him and was it him and Strickland or was it him and who did he just fight? Lopez had a really good fight with somebody.
I'm not sure. I can
not
look it
that
up real
long
quick.
ago. I think it was it Strickland or was it
his last fight was against Volkanovski and
Volkanovski,
he lost.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, you don't put Volk on here, you put Lopez and he lost to him. Like that's just kind of I don't know.
That's the thing, right? That's kind of confusing to me. Like, and we talked about this before. Timelines have to line up. Like after you get out of a fight, you can't just fight again like a month later. Like there's a timeline, and your opponent has to meet that same timeline too.
Yeah.
But you would think, as long as they've been talking about doing this, that they could have worked some of that out proactively.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like they're just pulling this shit together at the last second and giving us kind of an underwhelming result. That's the feeling I have.
Well, and also, why is Israel not on here?
Adesanya?
No. What the fuck is? I don't remember how to pronounce the dude that got trained by
Habib.
Yeah.
I think he might have pulled out. I saw like rumors that him or another guy in that camp like pulled out of the card, and they were in negotiations, but then canceled it. So who knows? Yeah,
I mean, that guy has to be one of the best. Like, you know what I mean? He's got to be one of the best out there, and like he's not on this card. That's a little disappointing as well.
I saw an interesting thing today, and they're timing it on purpose, I'm sure. But you know, MVP, that MMA group that like Ronda Rousey is fighting with Gina Carano on for Netflix.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul is like, I don't know if he's part owner, but he's definitely promoting that. They just put out a press release today, so I think they timed it well with like the release of this white card event or White House event. And basically, like, Ronda Rousey just went on this tangent talking trash about the UFC, and she was like, Dana White's not in control anymore. he doesn't get to make the decisions. He has to answer to TKO. And Dana White actually like gave a shit about the fighters and the fans and would prioritize them, but they only care about money now and they don't pay their fighters what they deserve, and was like really going off on the product. And then Jake Paul was just straight up like, he's like, yeah, if anybody wants to come fight for us, we'll pay you what you deserve, and like really capitalizing on all this stuff.
Wow.
I was like, damn, good timing for them, I guess, to kind of capitalize on what people might be considering an underwhelming card.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I mean, do I think it's underwhelming? A little bit, but do I think it's horrible? I don't think it's a horrible card. I think there's some good fighters and some good matchups, but just some of the guys that are on here, that's the question mark of like, you couldn't have found somebody else to fight this guy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it had a lot of potential, and then it's just kind of like, it's kind of okay.
Oh, I told you from the start that the whole White House part of it would be a gimmick. And it is. This is literally just any other UFC event that just happens to be at the White House at this point.
Yeah, but that's the thing is Dana was really talking it up. That's what I think is the problem, is they were hyping it. They overhyped it. That's the problem. If they wouldn't have overhyped it, it would have been
They
fine.
didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan. They were overhyping it with no plan, and that's the real issue here.
Yep. So I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10 on a scale.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You could even give it a 7 if you wanted to, but this should be like a 9 or a 10 with the way that it's been marketed.
Yeah. I think this did happen. I don't think we talked about it last week. I'm trying to remember what date it actually happened. It was obviously soon. It might have been the night after we recorded. R.I.P. to Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
See that?
I did see that. Yep.
Crazy, man. I was looking at some of his career stuff, just kind of because I was curious. I know he had coached at a few notable places. 33 years total. Coached at notably Arkansas, Notre Dame. Obviously, that's the one I think he's most known for. And South Carolina were the big few. You want to guess what is, without looking, his win percentage overall throughout his career?
This is just going to be a guess, but I'll say 82%.
No, 65%.
All right. I figured I was overshooting, but I feel like some of these legendary coaches, if they're on good teams, just have like a 1-loss season or a 0-loss season half the time. So,
I mean, if you look at his overall career, like all the seasons he coached, he definitely had some not so good seasons. Let's put it that way. Like in 1999, his South Carolina team went 0-11.
Yeah, that's not good. But Deeb, I just saw the most random thing that I just have to share with you. I was just Googling Lou Holtz to kind of look up some of this stuff. And one of the first things I see on here is CEO blog from the American Pharmacist Association talking about lessons from Coach Lou Holtz.
Okay.
Super random. So Deeb and I both have like some experience and some affiliation with that organization. So that's why I brought that up. But yeah. That didn't expect to see that. But it basically has, I'll read this later. This is kind of cool. It has like quotes of, I guess, things that Lou Holtz said. And then like in bold after the quote, like a message about what it means. Like, for example, it has one that says like, if what you did today seems big, you haven't done anything today. And then their like little thing after says, be humble. So it's like little messages.
Just says Kendrick Lamar, be humble.
Be humble. When all is said and done, more is said than done. And then it says, be a doer. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of things.
Wow.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to look at it later. Also, I feel like older coaches like this just have like the most inspirational quotes that feel like so witty and clever, but in reality, it's just kind of like,
simple.
The hell does that even mean? Yeah. So yeah, like making a big life change is pretty scary, but you know what's even scarier? Regret. That's kind of fire. I like that one.
That's the thing is there's really not a lot. And maybe we'll see it over our lifetime. There's not like a ton of old timer coaches left anymore, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like obviously sad when you see it and you're like, man, that guy coached like a long ass time. And obviously, he saw a lot. He had a lot of wisdom from all that time he spent in the game. So just obviously kind of sad when that kind of stuff happens overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was another thing that I randomly came across, and this was not something that I expected DraftKings to post, but did you see it was like this random thing and I didn't actually look up if it's from ESPN, but they claim that ESPN had their ranking of degrees of difficulty of different sports. So they have like this long ass table and it gives all the different, like, almost looks like a Madden rating, but for each sport. Like each sport has its own ratings for things. So like things like how much strength or power or speed or agility they require. And so
Okay.
they gave them rankings on the scale, and then through the like total ranking they came up with their listing of what they believe is the degree of difficulty of sports. So I'm curious what your thoughts are looking at that list.
I'm looking at it now. This is actually really fascinating. I've never seen something like this before.
Hmm.
I think the thing that really stands out to me initially here, I find it fascinating that boxing, obviously, I think any fighting sport should be near the top. So, like, you've got like wrestling, martial arts, things like that are up there.
Mm,
But it's interesting to me that like MMA isn't necessarily like above boxing because
yeah.
I feel like to be successful at MMA, you just have to be good at more things. But maybe these rankings are like, well, if you want to be successful at boxing, you have to be even better at those things for this one sport. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking through it here in real time. I kind of agree with, like, with ice hockey being really high up. I mean, that's such a niche sport and there's so many elements to it that I think that you do have to be really good at a lot of things. And I already talked at the opening about football and how I feel like there's so many different positions that you got to kind of have to strategize all of those things. Basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis, that I think a lot of this makes sense, but man, you have to really maybe change the way that you think about it. This table is so fascinating. You called it like a Madden's ranking.
Yeah.
It literally has like endurance, strength, power, speed, agility. Like it straight up looks like a Madden's ranking. And then
Yeah.
it just adds them all up, it looks like. Like they give
Hmm.
you a ranking for how good you have to be and then they add it up. So yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the top five were boxing, ice hockey, American football, basketball, and wrestling. I'm assuming wrestling means like not WWE, like
Right. Like
actual, you know what I
actual
mean?
wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the one I was surprised that's not higher is golf. It's down. It's like fifth,
Yeah. The comments that I'm looking at, someone's real pissed. They're like, I was taking this seriously until I saw golf at 51.
which
What do they
like
have here? I mean, let's see. So like endurance doesn't matter, strength doesn't matter much, power matters, speed definitely doesn't matter, agility doesn't matter, flexibility can
I think
matter.
hand-eye coordination's really ranked higher. And
Yeah.
what's ANA stand for?
Uh, Analytic aptitude. I don't know what that means.
Maybe just like your strategy, like you have to like
Maybe.
be analytic to know, like how to play or what to do and make decisions.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
hey,
but I,
power's actually it's reasonable though. It got like a 6.
yeah, power, hand-eye coordination, and then that analytics thing are like the three that it has high, and the rest are pretty low. I guess that makes sense, man. I mean, if you're trying to just straight up just add these together, speed and agility don't matter at all for golf,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
And
yeah.
so you can just automatically those are like ones right off the rip here. And
So
I think
maybe
nerve
that's
though.
why. You think that's why though? Because speed and agility are ranked so low that it like tanked its score?
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah. One thing that's interesting though is like nerve is ranked really low, and I don't know maybe what nerve means, but I would think that nerve to me is like mental, like your mental aptitude, and I think in golf that is really really important. So maybe I'm just thinking about this backwards. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, mental is honestly golf would have to be one of the highest for mental, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like
Oh,
for
I
sure.
agree.
To hold your shit together. Like
Yep. But
that's
yeah, I mean,
probably actually the hardest part of it.
it is for me. I can
Yeah.
guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is interesting. I truly think it has just a couple things that are anchoring it super low though.
But okay, here's think about this though. Remember how we had talked about this at whatever point. I think it was literally a quote that Tiger Woods said at some point. He said, "Golf is the one professional sport where you can come the closest to when you play it as an amateur or just a normal person to the closest to what a professional can do. Like you can hit a shot
Yeah.
that mimics what a professional shot looks like and feels like and does. It's one of the only sports that some normal person can do that in, where it's to that level. And so that's where I'm wondering if, like, for example, you have, like we both of us know some really good golfers who
Yeah.
shoot pretty good scores. They're not pro scores, but they're close. You know what I mean? They're not far
Hmm.
off. Whereas, like, I don't know many people that can play ice hockey like they do in the NHL or box
Right.
like, so like dunk basketballs and play like an NBA player. Like it's
Hmm.
very uncommon to meet people who have that skill set.
Yeah,
So
I would agree.
kind of
Yeah, I
makes
mean,
sense.
I think when you really break it down, this list makes sense, but it is kind of alarming at first when it's just like, oh shit, like boxing is the hardest sport in the world, but all you do is punch. But there are a lot of elements to that, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but
It's funny to see what is this rodeo steer wrestling is ranked 15th. That's funny.
rodeo. That would be hard, dude. Rodeo is probably hard as shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me ever attempting that.
I mean, it's probably dangerous too, so on that level. I'm
Fencing
surprised.
is ranked 24th. That's like so random to me.
I'm surprised that curling is ranked lower than golf. So is bowling. Is there anyone on here that you would rank higher other than golf? Maybe.
I guess it's hard to say without having like firsthand account of like playing some of these sports.
Yeah.
But I know I brought this up earlier, but I think water polo seems so challenging because you have to be able to like stay afloat and like not drown and still have like power to throw the ball
Yeah.
and be able to catch. You have to have hand-eye and endurance because you're not standing on the floor. Like they're literally like treading water while playing the sport. I don't know. I'm trying to think what their lowest ranking is flexibility, which maybe that's true. Maybe you don't need to be flexible to play water polo, but it's funny when you break it down and you're like, well, why are they lower? And it's because you're just adding up all of these things. It's not like it's taking like the top 3 or something like that. So
yeah,
but it's interesting.
I mean, that is a more of a kind of an objective way to do it. But, it's like, how did they come up with those numbers? That's what I'm not sure about.
Yeah. But I mean, I have played some of these sports and like people might think this is crazy, but tennis being as high as it is, I think makes a lot of sense. Tennis is super, super hard to be good at. So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's just again, it's so fascinating to break it down objectively like this and just compare numbers by individual rankings and then just add them all up. I guess when you do that, it makes a little more sense.
Well, fishing's the least, number 60 on the list. So if anyone's looking to go pro, get yourself either fishing or billiards or shooting or bowling. Those are the bottom 4. So
that's fascinating.
I'll be honest. I feel like shooting's not that easy. I'm not saying that, you can just pick up a gun and suddenly be good, but like I've done shooting before and yeah, you don't have to be super strong and no, you don't have to have a ton of endurance, but hand-eye coordination and all that kind of stuff. Like it can be difficult to be good at shooting. Let's put it that way.
Especially if you got a cross-country ski while you're doing it. Dude, I'm telling you, that was the weirdest Olympic event I've ever seen.
Wow. So we have, I think, is it this coming Sunday is the selection Sunday for March Madness? Is that right?
Yes, it is.
So looking forward to that. I know the Big Ten tourney is underway. I watched Oregon get slapped by Maryland tonight, which I mean, didn't expect much. They're like 16 and 17 seed in the tournament, and Oregon hasn't been very good at basketball this year, so it's all good. But looking forward to seeing what happens, and then I think we can do our bracket next week. So we'll probably get that all set up and send it out to people. And maybe we can talk about it too next week as well.
Yeah. And just keep an eye on socials because as I'm looking at the dates here, it sounds like the first 4 play a week from today. And so it'll probably be live in the next few days just to make sure people can join before any of that starts to happen.
Yeah. We'll definitely get that set up. But that's always a fun one. I'd call it a little more there's more to it than the college football playoff one that we did, right? Like it's only so many games and only so many teams you can pick, which is still fun. But I feel like March Madness, there's so many combinations for brackets that it truly makes it like, very unique. And you have a lot of people that like to pick the brackets in general. So that'll be a fun one.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. Michigan's good this year. UNC took some rough news. Their top players out for the season. But yeah, it is what it is.
Do you know if are they and Duke going to be duking it out in the final?
Duke took care of us on Saturday and they beat us the last time too. It's unfortunate because I think both times that we've played this year, our best player was hurt. And so we didn't get a real representation. But I do think Duke is hate to say this out loud, but I do think Duke is the better team this year. So it is what it is.
Look at this guy snitching on his team.
Well, just honest.
All right, so we didn't talk a ton about it tonight, but we got the Players' Championship coming up, which is really one of the first big major events. Not an actual major, but, it's the Players' Major, they call it, for a PGA Tour. So you want to do some picks for that and then head out?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right. We're going to use DraftKings odds again. We've been doing that the past few weeks to make it a little more realistic so that if anybody's interested, they can track it. But I did some different ones this week. There's actually a lot more options for bets for this, and I don't know if it's just because of the field or it's a bigger event, but Let's try this first one, Scott. Nationality of winner. It's under the region tab if you have trouble finding it.
Interesting. Let me pull this up really quickly.
Actually, hold on. It might be in specials. It's in specials. Sorry.
Specials. Okay.
Yeah, it's at almost towards the bottom. It was one that I had to dug deep. I was like, how is this a bet?
Oh, okay. So they're thinking, oh, interesting. So you can go, so USA is top, and then UK and Ireland and continental Europe. So it's kind of regional after that.
Yeah. Yeah, they have European. Well, you can pick, there's like many different bets. There's European winner, yes or no. Nationality, that's the one I'm focused on.
Okay.
Rest of the world winner or USA winner.
Rest of the world is wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to say USA winner. Not to be a homer, but I just think that's what it's going to be.
Not to be a homer. Give me continental Europe with the plus 860.
Damn. What does that even entail? Who do you have in mind for that?
I don't know. Just someone from Europe.
It's going to be Noren. Noren or Oberg.
I mean, there's a lot of Europeans, and they whooped our ass in the Ryder Cups.
Yeah, but those guys were all from the UK and Ireland.
That's true, I guess, technically. So, okay, hold on. What constitutes European? Is that like French, Italian?
Yeah, so it's separating the islands, basically. It's separating like UK and Ireland versus like the rest of the continental Europe.
Damn, maybe I wanted UK and Ireland then is what I meant.
There's a lot more golfers.
Give me UK and Ireland, sorry. That's actually what I meant. I just preemptively saw the plus 860 and got excited.
All right.
Okay,
I'm gonna stick with mine. I'm going to stick with mine.
Okay, end of first round leader. I think we did this one last week, and guess what, Scott? I picked Batia, and he won the whole damn thing, but he wasn't the first round leader. So
he sure wasn't. He sure wasn't.
That's a little sickening, but good for him. He won.
Let's see. Do you want to go? Well, how about you go first this time?
Ooh, give me. Let me see. I'm looking at all the odds here for this one. Give me my boy Maverick McNeely at plus 5,300. He's let me down one time this year before, but he's not going to let me down on this one.
I'm going to just go right back to a name I just said and give me Ludwig Oberg, first round winner. He's plus 16,000.
What?
Yep, for first round. Yep.
Where are you seeing that?
No, I'm looking at the. Never mind. I'm looking at first round and win. My bad.
I was like, damn. There's no way I'm seeing plus 3,600 unless I'm on the wrong thing.
No, you're right. I was looking at first round winner and winner. That's my bad.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that's a little parlay there. That's not bad. He's listed fourth. One in the top 5. I think this is under outrights. Yeah, top 5.
Top 5. I'm going with my boy. He let me down on Sunday this last weekend, but I'm going to say his name. Chris Gotterup.
Ooh.
Plus 920.
Wow, that's a good one. I like that. I'm going to go with a guy that's not as talked about. Plays well here. AJ Spawn. Plus 1325.
Damn.
Played well here last year. And then outright winner is the last one. Can't say Scotty. That's
Give me Oberg.
Wow. Betting it all on the house.
Yep, we're doing it. And that's what is the odds on that? That's plus
27. I'm going to pick a guy I don't usually pick. I'm not going to lie for this. Matt Fitzpatrick plus 4,100. I think he's due.
Yeah, well, he sucked last weekend.
He did.
He didn't suck, but he had a slow start.
He did, but he's going to bring it home. And I'm trying to think if he would count for UK and Ireland as my winner, too. I think he's from England. Does that count? Yeah.
Yeah, he's Irish.
UK. No, he's not
okay.
Irish.
Yeah, you're right.
He's England. He's from England. So, yeah, that matches my nationality of winner.
Mine didn't match, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah, what the hell? Wow.
Well, it's Gotterup then. Gotterup's the United States guy, and if not, then it's Oberg.
Okay, that's fair. Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's always fun. A TPC Sawgrass, the famous 17th hole Island Green. It gets you excited and makes you realize that the Masters is only a month away.
Ooh. Didn't Rory win this last year?
I believe he did. Yeah. And that sprung him to the Masters.
Yep. And he withdrew last weekend and is questionable for this week. But part of the reason he withdrew is to stay healthy for this week. So he will probably play.
He's a puss. Anyways.
Did you see
Jake Knapp?
Yeah, Jake Knapp really screwed me last weekend. I had a really competitive team, except that I didn't have a single point from Knapp.
Dude, so many people in our league picked him, and he just withdraws. I'm like, really?
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Really quickly, this just popped up on my phone. You know how DraftKings does their King of the Court
Yep.
occasionally. If you don't know, if you're listening, basically, if you make a bet on somebody's like points plus rebounds plus assists, and they end up having the most of that combination out of the whole league for that night, then you get like your cut of $1 million or whatever their giveaway is that night. Well, tonight, usually it's like, I don't know, like 50, 60, high 60s is usually like what it is when it comes to like points plus rebounds plus assists that wins. Hey, or some winning currently with 95. Bam. Is it Adebayo?
Yeah.
He had 83 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 3 assists.
83 points? What do you mean? He scored 83 points?
He scored 83 points and then had 9 rebounds and 3 assists. So he has 95 for his points, rebounds, and assists.
Oh.
Yep. The next closest is Wemby, who his game was still playing at this point in time, but he was in the fourth quarter and only had 46 points, rebounds, and assists. So less than half. That is insane.
Unreal, man.
Yep.
That's
and it looks
crazy.
like if you did bet on Bam tonight, the bonus bets is 1.1 thousand. That's crazy. Holy crap.
So wait, how much would you have to bet?
I think it's a minimum bet of $5. But you could also win. You would win your bet and get $1.1 thousand in bonus bets. Yeah, that's wild.
I would have never picked that guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that was super random, but I saw that notification and I was just like, wait a minute. He scored 83 points tonight? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, that's the NBA for you.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Well, looking forward to watching the players and talking about March Madness next week.
Yes, sir. I am hyped to get into March Madness. Go Michigan. Go UNC.
Cheers.
Cheers.